This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Today we will be discussing about Selenium framework. So as of now, you might be writing code, right? So for each and every scenario, you guys are writing drive find element and launching the browser every time. So basically, you are writing a duplicate code. So in this session, what we are going to learn is how to write a reusable code. So every time you need not to write again and again. Okay, we'll see that one. So in order to do that, what we require? Let me open my notepad and I'll just write down what are the things we require. And please feel free to stop me whenever you have any question. Okay?
Sure. Thank you.
So the framework which we are going to write is hybrid framework. So hybrid framework is nothing but it's a combination of data driven, keyword, page object model, yeah. So these are all combination of. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to get the good features of each and every framework, and we are combining into one framework. That is nothing but a hybrid framework. Okay, and in a hybrid framework there is no rule that you have to write in this way only or any framework. There is no rule, but you have to get the good features to the framework. You have to give the good features to the framework. That is a hybrid framework. Okay. And why we require a framework? Why can't we write our own way, whatever for each and every script, writing a driver browser instance and launching, writing the logic and closing. So what is the difference between normal writing and this framework writing? So the advantage with this framework is maintenance will become very easy. So as of now, you might be writing only 10 to 15 scenarios. But if you take a huge project which is having around thousands of test cases, then writing like duplicate code, writing browser launching, closing, and logic for each and every test case will become a huge process. And maintenance is like you cannot maintain them easily. It will be very hard. So if you create a framework, then what happens is the maintenance will become easier, and you will be avoiding the duplicate code. And you will have a reporting feature also. Let's say how many test cases you ran, how many are passed, how many are failing. You will have that feature. Okay. For this framework, we are going to use different tools and technologies. We'll see what are those. Automation library. So as you already know, we are going to use Selenium WebDriver first. And then project. Might be already worked on this. We are going to create a Maven project. We're going to create a Maven project. And then, so we are going to use a testing framework also that is called TestNG. That is for unit testing framework. And then we are going to use a language which is Java. And then to read the text data, instead of hard coding your data like username, passwords, or some keys, instead of hard coding the script, we are going to use or read the data from Excel sheet. So that is Excel sheet we are going to use, and reporting. So TestNG by default generates a report, but that is not that much readable format. That is not much useful. But we are going to use another framework called another reporting jar file called extend report. So this will create a beautiful HTML report and it will provide the screenshot whenever there is a failure. So based on the logic which we have written, so we are going to use all these things in our framework. So now we will see what is the structure of our framework, how it looks like. Okay. So any questions so far? So in these tools, so do you have any question in these tools?
Just concur. So you mentioned Maven also on framework, right?
No, Maven is a project.
Okay, Maven is a project.
So
Okay.
Java project and Maven project. Right? If it is a normal Java project, you need to add all the jar files. If it is a Maven project, we will create a pom.xml. Inside that, we will have a dependency.
Okay, so TestNG framework, we are including Maven project, correct?
In the Maven project, we will add TestNG dependency.
Okay.
So the structure, as you already know, it will be src main and Java. So this is the Maven structure. It will have this src test Java. So these
Are
are
you
the
present?
two.
Are you presenting anything actually? Just
Sorry. Let me
it's
share.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
Are you able to see now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So if you see, Maven project will have two different folders: src main Java and src test Java. So inside that, we are going to create different packages. So why we are going to create our different packages is similar kind of related classes will keep under one package. Okay. Let's say if you are testing manually, then what will you do? You will divide them into modules, right? Let's say there will be admin module, payment module, and there will be some maintenance module. So why we are dividing into modules is similar kind of functionalities will test there, right? In the similar way, we are going to divide them into different packages. Why means my maintenance will become very easy. Let's say if I want something related to framework, then I'll go to that particular package and I will change anything. If it is related to application, yeah, I'll come back to another folder. So mostly what we'll do is anything related to the framework we'll create under src main Java. Anything related to application we'll create under src test Java. Okay, so that is what we are going to do. And now, so let me jump into the Eclipse, and I am going to create the framework from the scratch. Again, the project I'll create, I'll add the dependencies and everything. Okay. And while creating, do let me know if you have any questions. So this is a plain Java Eclipse for me. I'm going to create a new. Go to File, New. I'm going to take a Maven project, as I told you earlier. And just click on the next, and here also you need not to do anything. By default it will come some option, so just click on that. So your group ID is nothing but your company name generally you will give. I'll just give GC rating, and artifact ID is nothing but whatever the name you are giving here, that will be your project. With that name your project will be created. Let's say hybrid Maven underscore Selenium. So this is my project name, or you can give whatever you want. I just wanted to represent with a different name, hybrid Selenium framework, so I just gave it. Okay. And this package, I'll just change something, sample. Okay, just click finish. So the moment you click the finish, if you see here, it is trying to create a Maven project. Because Maven has some structure, it will take some time to create that one. Yeah, it is creating here. Yeah, that's that. So this is the project. Hybrid underscore Maven underscore Selenium. This is the project which I have created. And here I have different packages. This is sample is the package name which I have given. Let me delete these packages. And the first step, because these are not required to me. So I'm going to create my own packages and with names. So by default it came like this. So let me delete these two things, which I have under src main Java and src test Java, because I am going to create a new one, new package. I'll just delete this one as well. Okay. Now the first step is, if you see any of the framework, we need a jar file, right? In order to write Selenium programs, we need Selenium server. In order to write TestNG, we need TestNG jar files like that. So all those jar file dependencies will be available in the pom.xml. Let me open this pom.xml. if you see in this form.xml, by default, there is a JUnit dependency, okay, which is not required for me because I am using the TestNG. So I am going to delete this dependency. Okay, that deleted it. And so if you see my structure, I need a TestNG, I need Selenium. So these two are main important in order to start my work. So let me go to MVN repository. So that is a repository where I will get all my jar file dependencies. So I'll go to mvnrepository.com. So this is a place where I can get all my dependencies. So I'll search for TestNG. Okay. So there are so many versions. I'll try to take the stable version. So this one is okay, 7.3. I'll just take copy this one and I'll paste under my dependency. Yeah, the moment I pasted, and I'll just remove the scope as well. This is not required for me, the scope thing. So then the moment I save this one, this will automatically try to download the jar file which are related to testing. So if you see in the MVN Maven dependencies, the jar files were added which are related to testing. Okay. And in a similar way, I'll try to add Selenium also, which I require the jar file. So Selenium -server. Yeah, I'll search for this Selenium server. So we go there. And in the Selenium server also I have different version, but I will go ahead with the stable one, which is 3.141.59. Okay, I'll copy this dependency, and then after TestNG I'll just place. Yeah, and I'll save this one. The moment I save, it will automatically try to download the Selenium server jar files with version 3.14159, and it will automatically add to my Maven project. Okay, so I think it's done. So if you see, yeah, there are jar files related to Selenium. So till this point, do you guys have any questions?
I'm good, sir.
I'm okay.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay. So these are the basic things. I can start writing my code, but later I need to add some more jar files. So we'll add it whenever it is required. Okay. So as I told you here, I have two things, right? SRC main Java and SRC test Java. In SRC main Java, I'll write the code which is related to the framework. That is the first part we need to do. So in this, what I'm going to do is, in SRC main Java, I'm going to create a package called config. So where I'll write the logic for launching my browser, right? Launching my browser, I'll write the logic for that. So which I'll create under SRC main Java. So I'm going to create a new package here. I just right click on the folder, new package. Package name I'll say config. So you can give any name to this packages. There is nothing wrong. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give a generic name, so that by seeing that name, others also can understand what is this. Okay? Configuration. So I'll just give config. Okay. And the package name, whenever you're giving, the coding standards, what generally in companies they'll follow is com dot the company name dot package. Com dot GCR is nothing but my company name. Okay? And the config, the package. So let's follow the same structure what we follow in real time. Okay? Com dot GCR is nothing but your company name dot the package name which you wanted. Okay? So my package name is any package name will start in we'll write in so com dot GCR dot and that package. So here I'm going to create a TestNG class. So I'll just right click TestNG, create a TestNG class, and what I'll do is for now I'll just create select the before class and after class. So whatever the package annotations I require, I'll add it later. Okay? So this one, I'll say start browser. Start browser is nothing but my class name. So the class name itself, it is telling the logic will be here for starting your browser. Okay? I'll just click finish. Oh, 1 second. It is created somewhere. It's supposed to be here. Yeah. So start browser. And as I selected two checkboxes, before class and after class, I got these things. And this test annotation is not required for me because this is not, I'm not going to run this one. I just write the logic for only start browser. So I don't require the test annotation. Okay. Yeah. Here, let me go ahead and write the logic or the code for launching my browser. So first thing is I'll initialize I create a variable public static WebDriver driver. You might already know this one. So I'm just going to import the package for this WebDriver. Yeah, this is the package. Yeah, and then let me go ahead and write the logic for launching the browser. Okay. So in the before class, I'll write driver equal to new Chrome driver. So which is going to this line which is going to launch a Chrome browser. But if you remember, so this is not enough in order to launch your Chrome browser. You need to have the Chrome driver.exe as well, right? So let me add meanwhile the manage dot timeouts also window. Oh, sorry, timeouts dot implicitly wait. I'll give 10 seconds. So I'm just adding implicit wait, which is a required one for me. And I'll just maximize the window as well. Okay. And then here I'll write the code driver dot quit, which is going to close my browser. But as I told you, instead of Chrome, before launching my Chrome browser, I need to have this one, Chrome driver.exe, right? So for that one, you might have going to Chrome browser and you are downloading the Chrome driver.exe and everything you are doing. So instead of that, what we are going to do is we are going to download a jar file, which will does everything for us. Okay? The jar file name is WebDriver Manager. Okay, this WebDriver Manager. I'll take the latest one. So if I add this particular dependency, what happens is you need not to download anything. So it will, I'll write one-liner code, which will automatically download the corresponding exe file for me, and then it will launch the browser.
So that means if it's, I mean, for any browser, we can just download this, right?
Yeah, any browser. Yeah, yes,
Okay.
yes. I'll show you the code for each and every. So
Okay.
this is for WebDriver Manager. Let me save this one. It's downloading because it needs to download the dependencies. Okay, it is some time. Yeah. So now I need Chrome browser, right? It's very simple here. WebDriver Manager. WebDriver Manager dot Chrome driver dot setup. That's it. So this single line is enough. So say if you are doing it for Firefox, again WebDriver Manager dot Firefox dot setup. That's it. So this line, what it will do is it will download the Chrome driver.exe and it will set the system.set property for you. Okay. So in this simple way, we can avoid the downloading, unzipping, and adding and everything.
Okay. So if we want to use
If you want
Firefox,
to, if you want to use the Firefox, simply let me just put that. Manager dot Firefox driver dot setup. That's it.
Okay, so that jar file has everything, all the browsers drive,
Right,
exe
right. It
files.
will have everything. Yeah, based on your given thing, it will download. Or let
Oh,
me just show you. So how it works, I'll show you. This is
Okay,
test annotate. I mean, I'll delete it later
okay.
so that you'll also know how it is launched. Let me add this notation. So driver dot get. Okay, I'm running it. So, let me run and test in test. Um, there is something wrong. Okay, TestNG by default disable loading CPD from answer to the errors. I'm sorry, I think it's a new bug. Okay, let me try to the TestNG version, change the TestNG version. Yeah. So you can see that Chrome driver was started successfully. So it's launching the browser to navigate to that person. See, without using the WebDriver, Chrome driver.exe and everything, we are able to do it. So I can show you that also where it is downloading. It is again in the .m2 folder, so where all my dependencies will be there. There only we'll have the this one also. User .m2. Yeah, in the WebDriver, yeah, you see the Chrome driver is there. So this will automatically download and it is going to launch. So if it is EP5, see, you can see the Chrome driver.exe. Okay.
oh,
So now,
can you please explain again the how we add the browser dependency in the Maven
huh,
actually? Okay.
so, this is the WebDriver manager.
Okay.
So this, so I just added this dependency, and in my scripting, I added this line, WebDriver manager dot Chrome driver dot setup. So if you are not using that, then you have to do this system dot
Set
set
property.
property. Yeah, and you need to download the Chrome driver.exe manually. You need to go to that
Okay.
Chrome driver site and use.
And
Instead
we have
of
to
that,
give the path, right? Okay.
you need to give the path. So, but this dependency and this command, this dependency and this command will avoid all those things. You need not to do anything. It will automatically download and it will set up the path file.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm just deleting this one because this is not required for me now, which is launching the browser. Okay. So this is how we can do that. And one more thing we need to do here is the reporting. So as of now, you might not see any HTML reporting, like how does it look like and everything. So the report which I am going to show you, let me. I'm just showing you. I'm trying to show you the report. How does it look like once we are done with this? See? This is how the HTML report looks like. So it will have all the details like what is happening in each and every step and everything. It will have the details. So finally, this kind of report we are going to generate. Okay? And in order to generate that report, what we need is we need one more jar file, that is extent report. As I told you earlier, reporting we are going to use extent. Yeah. So again, I need to download the jar file for that. So let me get extent report extent report. This is the jar file for that. No. Something got changed here. Yeah, this is the one we require, extent report. I need to search. Let me search for this extent report. Yeah, this one will extent report. There's different versions. Let me see which version is stable and which is allowing us to do it. So yeah, I think 4.1.7 will take this one because the other version has some other different thing. So let me take this 4.1.7 and I'm going to add this dependency also. As I told you, this dependency is only for the reporting purpose. So I showed you that HTML report, right? In order to get that report, these are the things we require. Okay, fine. The jar files are also added. Now I'm going to write some code which is related to only reporting, and yeah. So this is only one-time setup, and if you are working in an organization, somebody will write for that one. That one for you. You need not to worry about how the framework structure is happening in the reporting, but still we are going to write from the class. So for this, what I need to do is I need to write a couple of variables which are required in order to create that report. Okay? So public static. So don't worry about these variables because these variables we are going to use it in next step. So that now I'm just initializing, but I use them in later step. Extend report. Extend report is the class. I'm just creating variable for that. I'll add. I'll import all the packages later. Public static extend test. I'll just say parent test. I'll just say change test. Extend HTML reporter. Yeah. So let me import the packages which are related to this. Okay. So don't worry, this is a deprecated one. And here, so if you remember our TestNG annotations, it has different annotations. It has before class, it has before test, and before suite like that. But how they will work is based on the priority. If I have the before test annotation, then what happens? The before test, whatever I have written under before test, that will be executed first, right? So in my case, what I want to do is before, the first execution, I want to initialize my reporting because each and every step I want to capture, even navigating the URL and everything I want to capture. So what I'm going to do is The logic for initializing report is going to return under before test. Huh? So public void, I'll say report generation. And let me write the code related to initializing the report. So this HTML reporter. New extend reporter. And here I need to give the path of HTML file where I want to write my reporting. So what I'll do is here I'm going to create a new folder report. So under this folder I'm going to keep my file reports and slash I'll just say my report .html. You can give any name to this one. So I just gave my report.html. You can give any name to this. So after that, extend equal to new extend report. And then extend dot attach reporter. This HTML report. So basically, I'm just trying to add that HTML reporter to extend. So whatever we are planning to write into HTML report will be written directly here. Okay, that is done. Okay, and one more thing I need to add is, so if you see the previous HTML report which I showed you here, so this is having some method name. This is the name of the method. Actually, this is what we need to pass it. So instead of hard coding, what I'll do is I will automatically get the method name. Okay. So for that I have another annotation, the before method. We just need to import the package related to this before method. So public void method name. You can give any name for this method. So I'll say test to extend dot create test. I need to import a package related to this. Java reflection package. Method dot get name. So this, what is the purpose of this one? You will understand it later. Don't worry. Basically, this line will try to get the name of the method dynamically and will add it to your report. Just remember that one. It will get the name of the method which is executing and it will add it to your report. Okay. And one more important thing is, once we are done with all these things, you need to do a extend dot flush, which is nothing but. So why this extend flush is required is, so it will open the report here, the HTML file, and it will write all the logs into that HTML file. Once the execution is completed, you need to close that one. Otherwise, you cannot see the HTML file. So that is the reason it is mandatory. Extended dot flush is mandatory at the end. So we require at the end. So that is the reason I put it in the after class.
So it's like closing the report, completing and closing the report.
Exactly. Yeah. So here I am initializing and so similar to driver.quit again.
Okay. Okay.
So you started here and you are closing it like that. Okay. So that's it. This is the only thing we require in this particular package. In the start browser, we are initializing our browser and we are initializing our report. These two things we have done it here. Okay. And then, so the next step is, so we need some commands, right? In order to execute the browser, we need click command, we need type command, all those things. All those things, what we are going to do is we'll keep under one package so that we can customize and we will have the reporting for each and every action. When you directly write driver.find element by XPath and dot click, so it is not going to generate any report for you. So it will just execute it and in the console it will show whether passed or failed. but I want to do some customization. I want to see report for each and everything. Then I have to write my WebDriver customizer command. So now let me create another package under SRC main Java only, because this is related to the framework. So we're going to create a new package here. Again, com.gcr, as I told you, company name dot, I'll say wdcmds. So you can give any name. So WebDriver commands, I'll just give a shortcut wdcmds. Just click finish. Yeah. So here under this, what I'm going to create is a new class. I'm going to create a new class where it will have all the customizer commands. I'll name it as action driver, where because the driving of all the commands will be from here. Just click finish. Okay. So in this first, initially what I'll do is I'll declare a variable public web driver, and I just need to import the package related to the WebDriver. What happened? Yeah, sorry, my system is slow. Yeah. So I need to import package, and then what I'll do is I'll create a constructor, public action driver. And this I'll assign this variable driver to start browser dot driver. So that means whatever the driver instance which I created in the start browser, if you see here, this driver, I'm assigning it to this driver as. Okay? And let me create a first customizer command. So first command for us is driver.get, right? Because I have to open that URL. So what I'll do is public static void navigate to application. So the one more advantage with this framework is, and customizer commands is, even though you are not aware of Selenium, you should be able to write your code. Why? Because as for every command, I am going to create my customizer command. So navigate to. So people might not understand what is driver.get, but people can understand when you give a proper name, navigate to application. That means they'll understand. So you're trying to navigate to another application. So what I'll do is I'll put everything in a try catch block. So here it's very simple. Driver dot okay. Let's say I'll just use the same command driver dot get only. Okay, driver dot okay. Let me write it. Get. I need to give the URL for that. So I know which application I'm going to write. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write for at home. So in this application, we'll just try to log into the application and log out of the application. At home.com is my application URL. So I'll just give this. Or else I can parameterize this one as well. Let me do a parameterizing so that you not have any confusion. I'll just string URL. So simply we'll just give the URL here. Okay, so driver.get URL, and what I'm going to write is here I'm going to write a report. Start browser dot failed test dot pass. So here I'll write successfully navigated to application and plus URL. I'll just say URL. So it will show me. So in the report, in the HTML report, it will show me this is successfully navigated to that particular URL. If it is not, let's say URL is not navigated, then it will come to the catch block. Instead of false, I'll make it as fail. So I'll say unable to navigate to application, and that's it. So that my reporting will be very clear. Okay, my reporting will be very clear. And here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write some Java doc. Java doc is nothing but a help kind of thing. So navigate the application. Let's say if I am developing, I know everything. But what if somebody else is trying to read this one? They cannot understand easily, right? So for that purpose, I have to create a Java doc. So it's very simple. / ** present. So you write whatever the meaningful name. Let's say use it to meaningful content so that others can understand. Navigate to application. And the URL is nothing but you will just give application URL.
So what is Java doc?
Java doc
comment?
help doc, yeah, comment, it's different from the comment actually. Comment, see, if you just mouse over on the navigate, see, can you see that? You are able to see all these things, right? Whatever I have written on top, you are able to see this one. But if it is a comment, you cannot see that. So that is the difference between comment and Java doc.
It's called Java doc, right?
Right, it's called a Java doc.
Okay. Okay, sir.
That's Java doc. So in the similar way, what I'll do is I'll write some more commands, like which are very frequently used, like click command is used, type command is used, right? In this way. So public static void. Or let me do one thing. I'll not put static so that I just will not use static. Not required actually. I'll use a public void only. Public void click. So again, I'll put try catch block because I need a reporting for negative things also. So that is the reason I'm just adding the try catch block. So it's very simple again. Driver dot find element. Yeah. So this by XPath or anything that I'll write in somewhere else. So for now, I'll just put a parameter. Locator. You can put a by package. Yeah. Dot click. So it's very simple. So driver find, instead of writing driver find element and everything, wherever I require that, I'll just use the command called click, which is automatically will come the control and will be executed. So start browser dot again the chain test that pass. So here successfully performed click action on, and this is one good thing. One more thing we need to add is string element name, so that you can give that element name so that it will tell you whether the action is performed on it or not. So because when I say click action performed on a button, so there are so many buttons, but how do you know which button it is? That is the reason we'll add one more parameter. While you are writing the script only, you will write some name to that, whether it is a save button or edit button or some search button, so that in the report it will be something like this: successfully performed click action on save button, or next one, successfully performed click action on login button, like that. Okay. And let me do it for the failed one as well. If something goes wrong, I just instead of pass, I'll just say fail. Unable to perform click action on that particular thing. And I wanted to see the stack trace as well. So if you see, in console, in the when you run Eclipse, TestNG or Selenium program, the console will say, let's say button is not visible, it will say unable to click on the button because of invisibility or no such element exception. So all those things you will get. So in the similar way, I wanted to get that as well. So the dot child test dot info, and what is that? The exception. Whatever the exception I caught, I'll write it here and show the exception. So if that particular test or element is not visible, I don't want to go ahead. I want to close my, I want to fail my test. Then you need to use throw exception. Okay. And additionally, one more thing we can add is we can capture the screenshot also. Whenever there is a failure, it will be more useful if you capture the screenshot. Okay. For that one, what I'll do is I'll write one more command for screenshot. Sorry, one more method which will get the screenshot. So public string, actually it is going to return a string. Screenshot return take screenshot driver just caption driver. You already know about the caption screenshot, right? Get screenshot as, and then but only thing is I'm going to use a different output type. Output type dot base64 dot base64 format. Okay. So what it will do is it will capture a screenshot in base64 format, and then it will embed it into your HTML file. So in the report only, in the report only you will have the screenshot, so that you can send the report to anyone. Let's say if your team lead or manager is asking for the report, so it will be easy to send a HTML file which screenshot is embedded in this one. So we are going to see that also, how the screenshot will be embedded. And then I need to do a couple of modifications in the failure because I need to add a screenshot as well. So then what I need to do is, after this element name, I need to add the media entity builder. This is which is inbuilt class in extend report. Create screenshot capture from base64 string. I need to use a screenshot method. Let me put this in a separate line so that we can see. Yeah, and I have to do a build. That's it. So whenever there is a failure, it will do three things. One is it will write this particular line into the report, like unable to perform click action on the save button, and then it will capture the screenshot and will add it to that line, and it will give the stack trace also. Why this failed, like element not visible or some exceptions like that. Okay, and I'm going to add a Java doc again, /2* and press enter. User to perform click action on buttons, links, checkboxes, and radio buttons. So that if I write it clearly, others can easily understand. So what is the purpose of it? Without going into this particular method and reading it, they can easily understand this is useful for performing a click action. Yeah, and in the similar way, let me go ahead and write it for the type also. Yeah? Public void type. So again, I'll just write try catch block, and for typing also driver dot find element, and again I need a locator. So by locator, and typing it requires a test data also. Test data means nothing but what you're trying to type into there. Yeah? String test data, and again a string element name. Element name is required to give us additional thing in the reporting. Dot send keys, and the keys is nothing but test data. And again, as usual, I'll write the report for this. Successfully performed the type action. Type action on this element name and with the data also, right? With data. And what is the data? This is the tested. So that in the report, you can see that successfully performed type action in first name field with the data from NASA, like this. So that your report looks very clean. So if something is failed, then what do you have to do? See, I just copy paste the same thing and I'll modify it accordingly. Unable, okay. So declaration, okay. So successfully instead of unable to perform type action on that it cannot perform a type action. So why? Because means it will automatically tell you. So by you should be able to identify by using this info factor. Okay. Okay. Let's assume for now these are all the 2 commands as of now we require, or 3 commands. Something is required. Yes, we'll go ahead and add it later. Okay. So before moving to the next thing, so can I know any questions you have or any comments?
I'm able to follow, sir.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So if you see, as of now, I have written everything related to the framework, nothing related to application, right? So that is the reason I have written under SRC main Java. Let me just close it now. It is not required for me. And now I'll take my application. So @home.com is my application, and I wanted to log in. My scenario is log into the application and log out of the application. Okay. So then what I'll do is I'll just need to log in. Okay, let me just take this URL so that I can directly log into the, I'll come to the login page. I think I have some credentials for this. Yeah, I think I have this. Another training and sample. Correct, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I logged it. I just wanted to log into that application and log out of the application. So in order to do the log out, what I have to do is see, I just need the mouse over and do a log out. That means we need one more command, that is mouse over. That we'll write it later. So in the action driver, as of now we have only click, type and navigate command, but we don't have a log out.
Also,
yeah, we'll add it later. So now in order to do that one, so what we need to do here in SRC test Java is we need to create a package object repository. See what we are going to do is for each and every page we are going to create a class and we are going to write the locators in that particular class. So let me create a package first. New package com.gcr.or object repository. I'll call it as OR simply. And assuming that this is a login page, you can give any names to this one. So this is a login page for me. So I'm going to create a new class. So login page. That's it. And here I'll write the locators for these 3 things: email address, password, and login button. These 3 are the things which I require. So let me get the expert or IDs for this one. So here I'll write like public static pipe. It is a text box, right? I'll say txt user name. So I need to import by package. Okay, so it has ID. So if it is ID, so I'll go ahead with ID because this is the easiest way for me So by.id. Okay, I have added the ID. In the similar way, I need to do it for the password and I need to do it for the button as well. So if you see, I have given txt. That means by seeing that, I will get to know that is a text box. In the similar way, txt password. So for password, let me get the locator. Okay, for password also I have it ready. Or maybe I'll try with the name. So that we'll get to know we can use different locators. So by name, just give this. This is the name. And for the sign in button, so this is a button, right? I'll just say BTN so that I'll know that this is a button. BTN sign in. So for sign in, yeah, it has a type, it has class, and it has text also. Let me write the XPath for this one. So I'm going to write an XPath. It's button, right? / button text equal to sign in. Okay, I found the one. So 1 of 1 edition. So I can write this. By dot, I'll just say XPath by XPath, and I'll just put the XPath for it. So in this way, you can write any locator like ID, name, class, link, text. If it is a link, you can write the link text like that. Okay. So this, because this is the thing which I require in order to log in. Okay. Let me just log into that. What is my password? Sample at 164. At the rate 1234. Okay. After signing in, this I will call it as a home page. After signing in, I will call it as a home page. Okay. Let me create another one. I will create a new class. Home page. Okay. So in this home page, what I require, I need to do a mouse over here, and then I need to do a logout. Two things I require. So let me find out this locator. Okay, it has a class name. Let me try with the XPath whether it has a proper XPath or not. /span the rate class equal to this class name. Okay, perfect. It is showing only 1 of 1, so I can go ahead with this. I'll just do a mouse over on that, and then I'll perform that. So public static by it's menu, right? I'll just say menu account. So these names you can give anything, but I'm trying to give some meaningful names. Okay, by dot XPath. Okay, perfect. Then I need to do a logout also. Let me inspect. Okay, let me do this. Public static by lnk logout equal to by dot XPath. Like an XPath for this as well, because under this it has a span. So yeah, it's span again and text. Yeah, addition 1 of 1. So I'll go ahead with this. Perfect. Now I have the locators also. So I have the login page, I have the home page for one scenario because I'm doing it for only one scenario, right? So I got the login page details and the home page details. Okay. Do you guys have any questions in this? It's very simple. I will just taking the locators for this one because we have to use those locators in a method.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Now what I'll do is, so the main advantage with the framework is, right, if you see, let's say I have 100 test cases with me with this application. For all the 100 test cases, or out of 100, for at least for 50 test cases, I need to log in order to perform the next step. So then login to the application becomes a reusable function for me. So instead of writing that login related steps in all the 50 test cases, what I'll do is I'll write a function for that. And whenever it is required, I'll just call that function. So for that, I'm going to create a new package. Com dot, again, gcr dot, common function. What can I do for that is the package name. I'll say reuse, okay? Because these are the reusable functions which are related to application. Let me create a new class again. I'll name it as common function. So in this common functions, I require a couple of things. Public action driver. You can give any variable. I'll just give a driver is a variable name because driver I already used it. Let me create a constructor for this also. Function. I just create an object here. A driver equal to new action driver. Okay. Now the real script, real function became public void login. This is my function, right? So here I need to write one line, which is nothing but a step. Start browser dot child test equal to start browser dot parent test dot create node. This is nothing but a step kind of thing, parent step. Under this you will have all the sub steps. Log into at home. So that is my step. Under this, what is the first step? I need to navigate to the application. That is my first step. Okay. So then I'll say a driver dot navigate. See. So this is the application. This is the method which I have written in the action driver. And if you see, just mouse over on this one, it is going to show me the Java doc which I have written. So that if somebody want to know, they can easily understand. Use it to navigate to application. Okay. So that is the advantage of writing Java doc. Let me get
So can you explain the previous step where you wrote start browser.child test? Can you
this one,
yeah.
So this one is useful. What in the report, what happens is login to at home will show as a parent step. When you click on that one, it will show all the child steps in that one.
Okay.
Okay, let me show you the previous report so that you will understand. If you see, it is showing like this, right? Login to at home. So this is how it looks like. But if you want to see inside that, click on it. See, it is going to show me this.
Okay. Okay. Whatever
In
is
our
done.
case, in our case, there are two steps. One is login at home and log out of at home. Those are two steps. There will be another step it will come.
So login to at home is the parent step.
You can consider it the parent step. And inside
Okay.
that, what actions are performed, those are nothing but child steps.
Okay.
This URL, I can just give that URL at home. This is at home URL. Okay. I'll just give this URL here. So the next step is again a driver dot type, because I'm going to type a username. If you see, username is available in the login page. So login page dot txt username. And what is that test data? Nothing but my email ID. That is nagatraining@gmail.com. And here comes the element name. What is the element name? This is the email address. I'll say email text box. So that in report it occurs same way. Successfully entered some username in the email box. Again, the password I need to type a dot type. Again, password is also available in login page. Login page dot txt password. So I need to give my password. Sample 1234, and the element name is password field. Whatever you want, you can give it. This is your thing. Whatever you give, it will appear in the report. And again, a driver dot click is the command in order to click on the sign. So which is again available in the login page. Dot button, right? BTM sign in, and element name is I'll just say sign in button. Sign in button. That's it. So this is one of the reusable functions for me in order to do a login. Whenever in any of the script, if I want to do a login, I just call this method. I need not to write all these lines again. Only one liner I'll call them. Yeah? And we need to, okay, let me run this one and show you for this, so that later we can add one more step, that is logout. Okay? And in order to run, if you see, all these are support classes only. Nothing is runnable because there is no test notation in any of the classes. So now I am going to create a new package. com.pcr.scripts. Under this script, I am going to create a TestNG class. And let's say this is my test case 1. I'll just say TC01. I am not going to check any of these checkboxes, not required for me. I'll just click finish. Okay. And this method name, I'll say login underscore logout. Okay, this is my method name, login and logout. And here one mandatory thing I need to do is extend start browser. This is a mandatory one. If you are not extending the start browser, it will not launch the browser for you. Okay? And then I need to create object for the common function. Okay, new common functions, and now it is very simple. Just login. That's it. Because this login function is containing all the steps which are required. You see the login function is having navigating to application, entering username, password. Let me just sign in. See, my script became very simple. Now with a single line, I am able to log in. Okay, let me run and show you. Running this one, run as SNG test. So if you want, it will navigate to login, and then it will enter username, it will enter password, and click on the sign in button. Yeah, that's it, because I have written till that particular point only, and my test case is passed. Yeah? And if you want, I can, we can see the report now. So you just need to right click and refresh. And if you see under reports, I have this my report.html, because we are given the same name. We asked to create with this name, my report.html. So it created this, my report.html. Let me open this. Open with system editor. So if you open with system editor, it will open it in a default browser. My default browser is Chrome, so it is going to open in Chrome. Yeah. See, you can see that login logout. So this is the name of the method which I have given. Can you see this here, login logout? So how it is generated is because of this one. If you see in the before method, I told you, right? It is a method which will automatically get the name of the method and will attach to your HTML report. This is what it has done. This login logout. And in the common functions, you have written this login to at home. See, same step, log into at home. And inside that, we have all these 4 steps. Now, let me click on this. Yeah. Let me see that. Successfully navigated to application and the URL of the application. So, this is nothing but which you have written here. Successfully navigated to application. And what of the URL you pass? It came here. Okay. And coming to the type, you see type which you have written. Successfully perform type action in element name. What of the element name is given with the test data. Successfully performed action on email text box. That is the element name which you have given. You see here in the common function you can see this is the email text box. With the data that is nothing but my user test data which I have given like this one. Nagar time. And similarly for the button, successfully performed click action on sign in button which I have given here. Got it?
Yes, sir.
And it will, yeah.
I got it. I was replying late. That's it.
Okay, fine. And see, it will show you the how much time it will take and has taken, when it is started, when it is end, and everything. Yeah. And again, if you just click in this one. So let's say my script is having 10 steps. Somebody want to have a high level look, they will just see. Okay, login is happened. After that, it is doing some searching, and then logout is happening. That's it. If somebody want to see inside that what is happening, then they can just click on it and they can see that. So that is what this reporting looks like. And now what I'll do is I'll add one more step also, that is logout. I need to do a logout, right? So for that I already have written the locators, but let me write public void logout. Again, I need to add a parent step kind of thing here. Login, instead of login, I'll say logout of add-out. And in order to do a logout, I need to do mouse over first. In order to do that, I need to do a logout, right? To do a mouse over. In order to do mouse over, I don't have any command for that. So let me go ahead and write it in the action framework for mouse over. So it's simple again. Public void mouse over try. So yeah, in the trial, right? Driver dot find element by locator. Again, a string element name. Locator. Oh, I have to store it in a web element. And I need to create an object for the action. New actions. Because the mouse over command is available there. So a dot move to element dot build dot perform. That's it. And as usual, I need to write HTML reporting statements here. This is a pass successfully performed mouse over. Action of this. And if it is not performed, then I'll just copy this. Unable to perform mouse over action on these things. Okay, so this mouse over is also set now in the common functions. I'll write it. So a driver dot mouse over. Okay, mouse over. Locator is available in the home page. Home page now. workspace dot menu account. I'll just say my account menu. I just need to add an exception for this. Yeah. And then a driver dot click. So I need to click on the logout button. Homepage dot button, sorry, link, right? Link logout. Let's say logout link. Okay, that's it. I have that method as well in the test case. You just say, I'll put some threader clip so that you can see whether it is logged or not, but in real time it is not required. 3000 seconds. And again, common functions dot logout. That's it. So this, if I run this one, it will log into the application and it will just wait for a couple of seconds and then it will log out of the application. So in this way, we can create reusable functions. So whatever we require the actions, we can write it in action driver. Whatever the reusable functions we require, we can create in the common function. So if you are using the framework and everything, your scripting looks very simple and it's a very clean code. There is no duplication, there is no redundancy, nothing will be there. So with the less code, we are going to achieve more. Okay, now it has to log out of that application doing a mouse over and log out. Let's see. Yeah, mouse over is done and log out. Yeah, log out is also done. So my test is completed, it's successful and I can see the report now. Let me refresh the report which I have. Refresh it. Okay, yeah, you can see that. So log into at home and log out of at home. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
I think I was able to follow, sir. Maybe looking at the video again. Be a refresher. I was able to follow.
Okay, fine. Perfect. So yeah, as of now we have done this one, but as I told you, we can capture the screenshot also, right? What I'll do is I'll just show you how to capture the screenshot whenever there is a failure. So let me make this intentionally the failure. So what I'll do is I'll give a wrong locator to the mouse over, which is in log homepage. I'll give a wrong locator. Let's say logout 123. I'll just say logout 123, which this element is not available. This locator is not available. Then let me run this one and see how it works. Obviously, it is going to fail because of the wrong locator. So here, one more additional thing I want to have is in the report, it should have capture a screenshot and it will show the error message also why it got failed. So by default, it will just log into the application. And it will do a mouse over as well. But the only thing is it cannot log out because of the wrong locator. So we are expecting to have a screenshot of that and the information of why it got failed. Okay, there is a failure. Now let's see the report. Okay, if you see here, now it is showing it as failed. And logging at home is passed with this everything. But if you see logout at home, it got failed. I click on this, it will tell you successfully perform mouse over on this, but unable to click on the logout. And you can see it says the information, no such element, unable to locate logout 123. And if you see base 64, this is nothing but attached image. Click on it, yeah, you can see that. See, this is the screenshot which is captured. Got it? So that is also already embedded in this one. It's not a separate one. It is already embedded in the HTML report. If you want, you can send this report to somebody else. This is a simple HTML file. You can send it to like who let's say this is a file. In a mail, you can send it to anyone, your lead or manager. Simple. You can just copy this and paste it somewhere else. And you can send this. It's independent. It's not dependent on anything. You can just open this report. Still, it will have the screenshot. Still, it will have the screenshot because we embedded that into that HTML. Okay? So that is how to capture screenshot as well. So let me put it back. I'll remove this one. Otherwise, it will fail every time. So that is how you can capture the screenshot, how can you write the reusable functions and everything. Hope you are following everything.
Yes, sir.
And one more thing, one more last thing I'll just tell you on this one is how to read data from Excel sheet. As of now, we hard coded. If you see my common function, I have hard coded this one, right? Username and password I hard coded. But I don't want the hard code. I want to get it from some XML file because if I hard code, I can test it to those only this credential. But if I parameterize this one, I can give whatever the credentials I want. So for that, let me create a new folder called test data. Folder, I'll name it as test data. Yeah, inside this, I'm going to create a Excel file. Inside the test data, let me create a new Excel. You can give any name to that, but I'll make it as data for simplified data. And here you will have this is called workbook, right? In this workbook you will have different sheets, sheet 1, sheet 2, and sheet 3. You can give your data wherever you want, and I can rename this also. I'll rename it as test case 1 or whatever you want. Let's say login, logout you want, you can give. You can give whatever you want. And here I need to give the header because as of now these two are the only things which I require. Column, username and password. I can give my username here. Gmail.com. The password is sample and the rate 1234. Okay. Right. These are the two things which I require. And in order to read data from Excel sheet, we need one more jar file. So you might heard about POA jar files, right? POI jar file. But that is a very lengthy process actually. If you are trying to read data using the POI jar files, you need to add so many dependencies. You need to write a lot of code for that. But I have got another one which is very simple. That is called Philo, F-I-L-L-O. So with that, we can write simple code in order to read data from Excel sheet. Philo or Philo. Yeah. Let me get this one. So I'll take this one, copy, and again I'll put it in my form.xml file. This is another dependency. That's it. Save it. I will download the jar files. Okay. So Philo is added now. In the common functions, I hard coded it, right? Let me create another function with the parameter. So I'll just copy paste the same thing, but only thing is I'll just parameterize it. Username, password. So I'll just remove this username, PW, password. Okay, that's it. So I'm going to create one more test case here in the script. I'll create a new test ng. I'll name that test case 02. So it's mandatory one, extends start browser. And so this I'll change the name Excel underscore login logout so that you know the difference between these two. So again, common functions, CFS, new common functions. Right. So common functions is there. And I need to write, as I want to read data from Excel sheet, right? See, if you see dot login, I need to fill this username and password, which is I want to read it from Excel sheet. So for that, I need to use this below. I need to create an object for the below. And then I need to give a connection. Con equal to f dot get connection, and I just need to give the path of it. So my file is available here, test data, which is under this test data folder with the name data. I have given the name data. Yeah, data dot xlsx. That is the path, and we need to write a query string str query. Select star from CC1, right? This is the name which we have given. Yeah, CC1. So just you need to give the sheet name. So then what this Philo will do is it will get all the details which are available in test case 1 and will store it in string query. And then from this query, what we can do is we can make it as a record set. So record set, which is part of Philo, I'll say RS. Con dot get execute query. Execute query, and the query is already here, string query. So now we'll just write a while loop. So RS dot next. RS nothing but record set 9 minutes, and then so username, I'll just say rs dot get field. Get field. What is the field name? So that I need to get it from here, username. So you need to give the exact name, otherwise it will not get the field. And for the password, rs dot get field password. I need to add an exception. That's it. And this data you will get it from Excel sheet now. css.logout. Okay. So let me run this and see. It should work because I have given the proper credentials, username and password. So while we are trying the next one, I will give some different username and password, which will definitely fail, so that you will see the difference. And we are reading this data from Excel sheet. We do nowhere we hard coded this one. So it will log into the application, but this data is read from Excel sheet, and it will log out of the application because we have given the correct things only. Yeah, it is going to log out. And again, you can see the report. The registration is done. Okay. You see, my test is passed. One is login at. If you see that, this is Excel login logout. Login at home, logout at home. And if you want, we can give a different username and password so that we'll know that. Okay, I'm trying to edit. It's not allowing me. Okay. Test at gmail.com. So that you'll know that in the report also it will come at test at gmail.com. So let me run this one again. I think it's better to close this Excel sheet whenever you are done, so that you do not have any confusion. So this time, because I have changed it to test at gmail.com, we try to log in with the test at gmail.com. So which is obviously it will go to fail. Yeah, see it's logged in with the test. Again, it got failed. So we will do capture a screenshot of this one, and it will give us status like mouse or is not happened. But the only thing is here it shows is that the login is successful because we haven't. It has to enter. That's it. We see. You can see that it is saying it as successful, but only thing is it has given it as fixed data entry. And it is failed because mouse out is not happened. And you can see the screenshot. This is not logged in. So here the screenshot comes at plays a crucial role because the step it is saying it as login successful, but the thing is here it didn't log in properly. So that is the reason screenshot is very important. Okay. Any questions for you?
Oh, I got it, sir.
Okay, perfect. Anything you want me to report? I think this is uh, uh, about the framework and capturing screenshots and all those things. Anything specific you want me to go through again?
I think I'll be good, sir. Maybe you'll be sending this video, right?
Yeah, sure. I will definitely share this video.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe later. Yeah. If you still have any questions after watching this video as well, you can contact me. You can send a mail.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, then in that case, we'll stop this section here. Okay.